Husmac here and welcome to a day one review of F1 2016. I've got a few things to talk about in terms of the game from graphics to online and career, so I'm just going to sort of go over quickly what I think of the game after playing about 2 to 3 hours of it, both online and in career. So start off with online, probably one of the bigger aspects of the game. To be honest, it's vastly improved over F1 2015. There is very little slash no lag. I've not had any problem with lag at all. Well, I've had maybe 1 to 2 lag spikes, but like little lag spikes over 2 hours. But that is pretty good. I think other racing games don't even manage that. So performance online is really, really good. There weren't many people disconnecting. Obviously, there were people rage quitting, but people actually losing connection. That was pretty rare, to be honest. I think they've vastly improved online over F1 2015. F1 2015 was an absolute mess when it launched. It was the reason why I didn't actually make any videos on it, because the game didn't really improve over the year. But F1 2016, on day one, it's had a very, very impressive start. We just did a lot of stress testing with 22 people in lobbies, and it didn't really have any problems at all. There was a lot of, well, not a lot, but there was a few glitches, like little glitches, but they weren't game breaking as such. There are a few little glitches in terms of the lobbies. I think when someone actually joins a lobby, it resets the countdown timer. It goes from 30 seconds all the way down to 0, and then the race starts. And then when someone joins, it resets it. Like I say, if it's 10 seconds, it goes back up to 30 seconds, which is annoying considering like we were in sprint mode lobbies, which are back, by the way. There's no shitty little hopper system from F1 2015. When someone entered, it reset the countdown timer to 30 seconds, which meant we were waiting for about 5 minutes just to start because people kept on leaving, coming back, leaving, coming back, and then people were unreadying, readying up. It's just a mess in terms of the lobbies. So that could probably be fixed with a little patch, to be honest. There are also a few people online and probably in single player as well, actually, having problems setting up their wheels. I think Nick had a problem when he was like racing. It would start the race, he'd be fine, and then he'd go through a corner and he'd lose all control of his wheel. Like, it just wouldn't respond in game, and he'd go off the circuit, he'd crash, or he'd just stop on track, and then it would come back to him later in the race after he reset his wheel. But yeah, it's just a weird little glitch like that. It's obviously not game breaking for many people. I think only Nick really had that problem. A few other people had that problem, but yeah, the online is pretty damn good. It's vastly improved over F1 2015, even F1 2014. I think it had a better launch over that. So it's definitely returned to form in terms of the online for Codemasters. It almost brings me back to F1 2013 in terms of the racing you can actually have with people, although it's actually less laggy. I think it's probably the best online of any F1 game so far, and I'm not just saying that because it's a new game. I honestly think that that is the case. I've been critical of the F1 games in 2014, 2015, and that is my honest opinion of the game at the moment in terms of the online. I've not done too much of the career, but there seems to be a lot of customization options, which is good, which is, you really want to see that in a career. It was lacking in 2015. You could only really choose like an official F1 driver like Hamilton, Vettel, Rosberg, and apart from that, you didn't get any customization. You couldn't mod the game either to like, well, it was tricky to mod the game to sort of add in your own driver. And F1 2015, the career was disappointing, let's say. It was pretty shocking, to be honest, in terms of like what you could do. It was just like, okay, you're just going to do a season of races with this driver. You can't customize anything. There was no development either, which is back in F1 2016. The development, they seem to have like improved it a lot over F1 2013, where you could actually like choose what parts, where you want to have the car lighter or you want to have more power for the engine, which is pretty cool to see, to be honest. I've not done too much of the career, but I will dabble in that a little bit later. Thing I've noticed with the AI though, they need to be more aggressive, especially on sort of the middle difficulties. The AI is basically fine on like the highest difficulty, but when it gets to like one lower than that, two lower than that, it sort of degrades in terms of the AI quality, and they just don't really want to race you. That's sort of a thing that could be improved with a patch at some point, as with a lot of other problems with the game. But yeah, they're just not racy enough, the AI. And the amount of data you've got access to in career and online as well, like when you're driving around the track, you can see your brake temps, you can see your tire temps, you can see your degradation on the tires, is really, really cool. Like, it's sort of a nerd's wet dream in terms of like racing. Like when you're playing R Factor, you've got that all available to you, which is really, really good. It means you can manage your race, means you can see if you've got a problem, and it's good to see in F1 2016. It adds a little bit more of advanced gameplay, you could call it that, to the game. It makes it a little bit harder to manage everything, but also to see if there's any problems. So it just means you can sort of deal with a problem if you see it in your data, And obviously, if you're a good driver, you'll be looking at your data all the time, seeing if you've got like bad brakes, failing brakes, or your tires are degrading. Like, it's just a lot more in depth, which is really good to see. The handling of the game is also vastly improved over F1 2015. The F1 2015, you seem to have to put a lot of lock into the car, almost like full lock, just to go around a corner, which isn't realistic at all, because obviously you'd kill your tires if you did that in real life. Racing in the dry is still a bit too easy, but I think that's not really a problem. It's just because I'm a sim racer and I'm used to R factor. But for the vast majority of people, I guess it's fine. It's good for sort of Codemasters F1 game to not be too hard, but not be too easy either. It's sort of got to be realistic, but not overly realistic like a sim would be, like R factor or Assetto Corsa. And probably the most challenging aspect of the game was racing in the wet, like full wet. I think the first race we had in the wet was Belgium, and just trying to keep it on the road is difficult as hell, especially racing with other people. You tap another person, you'll spin out, and yeah, it's just incredibly hard to drive in the wet, which is actually really good because that's how it is in real life. It's not easy to drive in real life in the wet, and it's really good to see that Codemasters actually revamped the tyres, the wet tyres especially, so you're about 10 to 15 seconds slower in the wet, which is about what it is in real life. Moving on to the graphics then, the lighting and the overall graphics are vastly improved over F1 2015. I'm going to compare everything to F1 2015 because that was the last Codemasters game, and it was a pretty big disappointment. The lighting and the graphics are incredible at some points. Like when you're just sitting in the grid, you can see like the rain dripping off your, like water dripping off your mirrors. The lens flare is incredible to see. I was so surprised by the graphics because you don't really get an idea of it on YouTube, but like when you're playing it in with like a full screen, it is so cool. Like the graphics, it almost looks like real life in some aspects. Compared to F1 2015, which I thought were sort of desaturated and a bit grey, it's colourful, but it's also realistic, and I really like the art style for this game. And the performance of the game, like overall, I wasn't really having like any performance issues. I was recording at the time with OBS, and I wasn't getting any hits to my frame rate. I think I was getting over 40, over 50. I'm not quite sure in the specific FPS. I need to do a benchmark at some point. But yeah, the game was really good. I think I was running on medium to high. I think I put some up to high, but I was mostly running on medium graphics at the time, which still looked really good. And I might put up to high later on if I can still get the performance. But yeah, no issues with the performance at all. Like one or two lag spikes in online, but you're gonna have that with like 22 people in the lobby, of course. But yeah, overall, it's definitely returned to form for Codemasters for the F1 games. It's a hell of a lot better than F1 2015. F1 2015, if I was to give it a rating, I would probably give it a 4 or a 5 at most, because it was a hollow game. It had so many issues on launch. It was just a dreadful racing game, and they rushed out. It was just dreadful. F1 2016, I'd give it a 7 or an 8. It's a solid racing game, and I'd recommend getting it if you haven't got it. I've been critical over previous F1 games, but this game is the real deal. It's a return to form for Codemasters, and it's so fun to drive, and it looks so good as well. At this rate, I'm definitely thinking of returning to league racing on Codemasters games, but I'll need to give it some thought, obviously, because of other events happening. With a few patches, they could make it even better, but yeah, there's not really much that needs improving. It's a really good game at this time, and it's only day one, so hopefully it will just improve to be even better and better. But anyway, this has been my day one review for F1 2016, so if you liked it, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be starting my co-op series in the next week or so with Joe, so make sure to check out his channel as well as mine when that video eventually goes up. I think we're recording it tomorrow night as of recording this, so it'll be out early next week. Not sure how I'm going to edit it yet, but it should be really fun to record, should be really fun to drive as well. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will speak later.